Hey everyone, I'd like to talk today about the adversarial force most known as Satan. In the Abrahamic traditions like Christianity, Islam, Judaism, the adversary is Satan. In Judaism, Satan is the tester, one who tests man but still works for God. In Christianity, he's the ultimate adversary, the tempter. And in Judaism, he is the forsaken one, the merciless one. Whereas in Islam, God is the most merciful, most compassionate. Um, and the interesting thing about Satan in Christianity, I'm flipping around a lot here, but in Christianity is that Satan basically rebelled against God. He could not accept God's order. He could not accept that man was greater than the angels. That because of man's free will, that they were above the angels. And Satan, because the angels were created first, believed that the angels should be held above man. But in Islam, the reason why Satan rebelled and became the merciless one is that he loved God so much that he only wanted to kneel before God and not kneel before man, which is similar to the Christian interpretation, but not quite. And now this same adversarial force, this same basically the same Satan, the same negative counterbalance to the balance of order, the opposite polarity to the original polarity. In the Nordic tradition, the Nordic pantheon, the Vikings, Asatru is what many people call themselves nowadays. The religion is Asatru, but at any rate, back then and now, he was known as Surt. The place we get the name Satan from is actually from Surt, the Norse pantheon, and there's some evidence to corroborate that. But mainly, the idea of Surt literally came before the idea of Satan, as far as archaeology is concerned. But if we're going to go to more Eastern traditions, for instance, in Buddhism, Mara is the god of illusion, the one that throws fear and desire in our hearts by external means, whether they be temptations in sex, drinking, food, or being afraid of death, being afraid of getting lost, being afraid of age. Whatever it is, Mara throws these things at us to cement us in this world and to not look at the nothingness within ourselves, the liberating nothingness that is in the heart of everything, which we eventually realize is behind it all, and we become enlightened. And that's the Buddhist understanding. Now, in Hinduism, Maya is the closest being to Satan, but one can't really say there's an equivalent in Hinduism. And I'm Hindu. I'm also true. But I'm true to both gods. In Hinduism, my intellect is attracted to the pure understanding and cataloging of all the forces in the universe and in the multiverse. In Asatru, my bloodline, I feel it calling to those old gods. But either way, in Hinduism, Maya is the counterbalance to the original balance. And this counterbalance is not something that exists in and of itself in Hinduism, but Maya is the illusion that we are separated from God, that there is a division between us and God, and that we can't reach God. And that is basically the ultimate evil in Hinduism, illusion. Because in reality, we are all part of the same union. And but this adversarial counterbalance, this opposite polarity, this ne'er-do-well, this trickster, in whatever tradition you want to name him through, it's always a dual force. This force exists to bring duality into existence, which created this universe in the multiverse, basically in most traditions and by most people's understanding, ultimately, if they look deeply into it. This universe and certainly this earth that we understand could not have existed without the opposing force bringing us away from God. There's God, and then there's a force that's bringing us away from God. And without those two forces, creation as we know it could not exist. Because there is that nature, both natures, inherent in every single life, in every single element, in every single space, void, essence. Both these realities exist simultaneously in all forms, and without both of them, one of these forces would pull everything toward it, and nothing could resist or have a choice in resisting that force. And ultimately, in Hinduism, we believe that God wanted to experience himself, and that's why he created the multiverse and all these different dimensions and the astral realms and the causal realms, because he wanted to experience himself. So he introduced Maya. But whatever story ends up being true, or maybe, as I believe, they all have an element of truth, that force does exist. There's always something that is adversarial. Even if the adversary is an illusion, it exists in relation to us. And that's something we have to look at and try to understand in our own religious or spiritual structure or lack thereof. We have to understand what we view as opposite to us and in what ways are we like that force. And that's all I got to say about the adversary, Satan, or any of the other names people call him by. Please leave a like or subscribe, and I'll talk to you soon.